Welcome to Podcast Summaries, where every week we break down powerful ideas from 8 to 10 top podcasts to help you grow, heal, and thrive while saving time. Well, if you find this summary helpful, please subscribe. Your support keeps this journey going. Here is a rundown on the man behind the biggest stars. Exposes the lies about success, featuring Scooter Braun by Stephen Bartlett. Scooter Braun's life has been a fascinating journey, filled with twists and turns that have shaped him into the person he is today.
As Stephen Bartlett delves into Scooter's past, he uncovers a complex web of emotions, experiences, and relationships that have driven Scooter's success.
Scooter's earliest memories are marked by a sense of shame and privilege. He felt like he had to earn his place in the world to justify the privilege he was born with. This sense of shame and responsibility drove him to work hard and push himself to achieve more. As Scooter shares his story, it becomes clear that his father, Irvin, played a significant role in shaping his values and work ethic. Irvin's tough love and high expectations pushed Scooter to be his best self, even when it was hard. Scooter recalls a particularly poignant moment when his father called him a liar, not to punish him, but to teach him the importance of integrity. This lesson stuck with Scooter and has guided him throughout his life. Scooter's journey into the music industry followed with his party promotion days in college. He shifted small, selling fake IDs, and eventually moved on to promoting parties. It was during this time that he met Alex Gidawan, who taught him the value of the door and how to promote effectively. Scooter's success in the party promotion scene eventually led him to meet Jermaine Dupri, who offered him a job at his record label. Scooter's decision to drop out of college and work for Jermaine was a pivotal moment in his life. He was driven by his passion for music and his desire to succeed. However, not everyone was supportive of his decision. The dean of his college in particular was dismissive of Scooter's entrepreneurial spirit, telling him that he needed to focus on his studies and get a degree. This encounter left a lasting impression on Scooter, who has since come to appreciate the value of dreambusters in his life. Scooter's ability to form lasting relationships has been a key factor in his success. He credits his respect for others, particularly those who have helped him along the way, as a major reason why people have been willing to give him a chance. He also emphasizes the importance of letting his work speak for itself, rather than trying to force relationships or opportunities. As Scooter looks back on his life, he acknowledges that he has been driven by a variety of factors, including his curiosity, his love for his children, and his desire to prove himself. And he also admits that at times he has been fueled by doubt and criticism from others. However, he believes that it's okay to acknowledge these influences and use them as fuel, rather than trying to suppress them. Scooter's journey is a testament to the power of hard work, determination, and a willingness to take risks. His story is a reminder that success is not solely the result of talent or privilege, but rather the culmination of a complex array of experiences, relationships, and choices. As he continues to navigate the ups and downs of his life and career, Scooter remains committed to his values and his passion for music, inspiring others to do the same. When he was in college, he noticed that Eminem, one of the biggest rappers of all time, didn't have a counterpart who spoke to the college experience. Braun wanted to find a rapper who could relate to that demographic, someone with the skills to be credible in the hip-hop world. This led him to Asher, a young rapper who would become his first successful signing. Braun's approach to finding talent was unorthodox, to say the least. He had no right to contact Asher on MySpace, but he did anyway, driven by a sense of why not me. This fearlessness, combined with a clear vision for what he wanted to achieve, would become a hallmark of his career. When Braun discovered Justin Bieber, he was just 13 years old. Braun was 25 at the time, and he saw something in Justin that no one else did. A unique talent, charisma, and a voice that could touch people's hearts. He pursued Justin relentlessly, convinced that he had found a star. Braun's relationship with Justin was intense and all-consuming. Braun reflects on this period with a mix of sadness and understanding, acknowledging that it was a natural part of Justin's growth. Braun's experience with Justin and other young artists has taught him a valuable lesson: that the pressures of fame can be overwhelming, especially for those who are still developing emotionally. He feels a sense of guilt for not recognizing this earlier, for not providing the support and guidance that his artists needed. But he's also proud of the work they did together, and he's grateful for the opportunity to have been a part of their journeys. As Braun looks back on his career, he's struck by the transience of it all. The praise and the hate, the highs and the lows, it's all fleeting. So what does one anchor in if everything is transient? For Braun, the answer is simple: his family, his children. They are his rock, his source of stability in a chaotic world. But for those who don't have kids, Braun's advice is to focus on self-work, to cultivate a sense of inner peace and purpose. This, he believes, is the key to navigating the ups and downs of life. He's learned that being on the other side of it already happening to him has made room for something else. For him, what anchors him is no longer thinking he's in control, but rather participating in a game he can't control. He's realized that he can influence the game, but not the outcome. This mindset shift has allowed him to enjoy the game and find excitement in the unknown.
Stephen Bartlett asks Scooter to share a story about an artist he believed in, but was wrong about.
Scooter shares the story of Spencer Lee, an incredibly talented artist who struggled with addiction. Despite Scooter's efforts to help him, Spencer eventually overdosed and passed away. Scooter reflects on how he got it wrong, thinking that if they got the records right and Spencer got on the road, he would be okay. However, he's come to realize that addiction is a complex issue that can't be solved by external factors alone. Scooter also talks about how he stuck around with Justin Bieber during his difficult times, despite people calling for him to drop him. He shares that he's learned to be a rock for his artists, providing a constant place for them to come back to, even if they're struggling with addiction. Scooter's decision to step away from music management after 23 years was a difficult one. He reflects on how he felt betrayed and misunderstood, but ultimately realized that it was time for him to move on. Scooter also talks about how he's learned to approach life with a curious and creative mind, rather than a competitive one. He's realized that thinking big and being open to new experiences is key to living a fulfilling life. He also reflects on the Taylor Swift incident, which was a difficult time for him, but ultimately taught him the value of empathy and understanding. After selling his company for $1.10 billion, Scooter found himself with a significant amount of money and time on his hands. However, he didn't let the uncertainty of his future hold him back. Instead, he chose to approach life with curiosity and creativity, embracing the unknown and finding new passions and interests. He's learned to think big and not be afraid to take risks, and is excited to see what the future holds. He believes that these experiences have been gifts, allowing him to grow and learn in ways he never could have otherwise. He's learned to let go of the need to control everything and instead focus on being present in the moment. He's come to realize that he can't navigate the complexities of life on his own, and that it's okay to ask for help. This newfound understanding has brought him a sense of peace and freedom, allowing him to be more authentic and vulnerable with those around him.
When Stephen Bartlett asks Scooter Braun to describe what he would have seen if he had been a fly on the wall during a particularly difficult time in his life, Scooter Braun shares that he would have seen resistance, trying to navigate the challenges he was facing, and a deep-seated desire to fix everything.
Scooter Braun's journey has also taught him the importance of relationships and community. He's learned that the people who truly matter in his life are those who are there for him, no matter what. In fact, it's okay to be vulnerable and imperfect, and that's where true connection and growth happen. As Scooter Braun reflects on his experiences, he shares that he's come to understand the concept of amor fati, or the idea that everything in life is a gift. He's learned to see the beauty in the struggles and challenges he's faced, and to appreciate the lessons they've taught him. He's also come to realize that he doesn't have to be defined by his achievements or his external success. Instead, he can focus on being true to himself and living a life that's authentic and meaningful.
When Stephen Bartlett asks Scooter Braun about the warning signs that might indicate someone is headed for trouble, Scooter Braun shares that it's often the choices we make that we justify to ourselves. He encourages Stephen Bartlett to be honest with himself about the choices he's making, and to consider whether they're truly aligned with his values and goals. He also reminds him that there's no perfect time to make changes, and that sometimes the best thing to do is to take imperfect action. But then comes the twist. If your loved one is healthy, does she love you? And is she here with you right now? The realization hits that everything you're working to achieve, you already have it.
It's a profound moment, one that Scooter wishes he had paid more attention to at the time.
Stephen Bartlett asks if Scooter was happy before his marriage fell apart.
Scooter's response is honest. He thinks so, but he didn't know who he was. He was happy because everyone told him he was doing great, but looking back, he realizes he was asleep at the wheel. He didn't know himself, and it wasn't until his foundation broke that he realized he wasn't happy.
Scooter's advice to Stephen is to turn off the cameras and do some self-work. Stop being nudged and just go do it. He emphasizes that there's no good time in the future, know when you get to a certain age or achieve a certain milestone. The time is now.
Scooter believes in reincarnation, and he's been studying Kabbalah, which teaches that nothing is actually yours, but you're a custodian. He's learned to trust that if it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. And that his journey was supposed to be exactly the way it was. Despite his success, Scooter still has moments of self-doubt and uncertainty. He's still learning, still growing, and still figuring things out. Scooter shares a story about how he called every person on the Billboard 30 Under 30 list when he was 27, just to introduce himself. He wanted to know his peers, to grow with them, and to support each other. This led to him becoming an early investor in Spotify, and he's never sold a share. Scooter praises Daniel Eke, the founder of Spotify, for his bravery and foresight in saving the music industry. He believes that Daniel gave value to their business, brought multiples on publishing and masters, and brought the global community together. As for what's next for Scooter, he wants to prioritize his children and be the best father he can be. He's excited to explore new industries and try new things, and he's eager to see what the future holds. He believes that the next chapter will be about love, relationships, and being a rookie again. He's excited about the possibilities that this new world will bring, but also acknowledges that there will be growing pains along the way.
Stephen Bartlett is drawn to the idea of embracing the unknown and taking risks. He's been driven by a fear of missing out on the next big thing, whether it's the dot-com boom or the rise of AI.
But Scooter Braun is pushing him to think about what success really means to him. Is it just about being first, or is it about something more? Scooter Braun shares a personal anecdote about how he used to avoid swimming in the ocean because he couldn't control it.
But Stephen Bartlett is different. He's willing to take risks and face his fears head-on. Scooter Braun is intrigued by this and wants to know what drives Stephen's desire for success. Stephen Bartlett opens up about his fear of not being relevant anymore. He's always been driven by a desire to be on the frontier, to be the first to ride the wave.
But Scooter Braun is pointing out that this fear is rooted in a deeper need for control.
He's encouraging Stephen to think about what he really wants, what he's afraid of, and what he's running from.
Scooter Braun is sharing his own struggles with feeling worthy and deserving of success. He's always felt like he needs to prove himself, to show others that he's good enough.
But Stephen Bartlett is pointing out that this is a common fear, and that it's okay to be vulnerable and honest about it. The conversation is turning to the idea of balance and harmony in life.
Scooter Braun is suggesting that it's not about balancing different aspects of life, but about harmonizing them.
He's encouraging Stephen to bring his partner and family into every aspect of his life, to share his fears and doubts with them. Stephen Bartlett is reflecting on the importance of being present and mindful in life. He's realizing that he's been so focused on building and achieving that he's neglected his personal relationships.
Scooter Braun is nodding in agreement, sharing his own struggles with being present for his children. The conversation is taking a deeper turn, with Scooter Braun sharing his own fears and doubts about being a good father and partner. He's afraid of not being worthy, of not being able to provide for his family.
But Stephen Bartlett is pointing out that this is a common fear, and that it's okay to be vulnerable and honest about it.
Scooter Braun is talking about the importance of giving back and philanthropy. He's sharing his own experiences with charity work and how it's helped him to find purpose and meaning in life.
Stephen Bartlett is nodding in agreement, sharing his own experiences with philanthropy and how it's helped him to connect with others.
The conversation is coming full circle, with Scooter Braun reflecting on the importance of being true to oneself.
He's encouraging Stephen to keep asking questions, to keep seeking answers, and to never lose sight of what's truly important. And as the conversation comes to a close, Scooter Braun is leaving Stephen with a final question. What is the one thing that fear of failure has kept him from doing? He's felt like his mind is always changing, and he's worried that he wouldn't be able to write something truly great. This fear has been a constant companion, whispering doubts in his ear and preventing him from taking the leap. But in this moment, something shifts. Stephen Bartlett senses an opportunity, and his enthusiasm is palpable.
He's been blown away by Scooter's wisdom and articulation, and he believes that now is the perfect time for Scooter to share his story with the world. The stage is set, and all that's needed is for Scooter to take the first step.
Scooter Braun is touched by Stephen's words, and he feels a sense of gratitude and honor. He's happy to be a part of this conversation, and he's excited to see where it will lead. As he looks to the future, he knows that he has a lot of work to do, but he's ready to take on the challenge.
The seed has been planted, and now it's up to Scooter to nurture it and see it grow. It's an exclusive opportunity, one that will allow his most dedicated fans to get closer to the action and be a part of something truly unique. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, check out YouTube channel, and just remember, subscription is only £1 or $1 per month. Leave a comment or review. Until next time, happy listening.